Hey, yo, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for checking it out. Hey, today we're talking about why the TRD Off-Road just might be the best Tacoma trim level that you can get. At least the best bang for your buck. Hey, again, appreciate you checking out the channel. If you're new here or if you've seen other videos and haven't done so yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Love to have you subscribed. Come along for this journey, talk more about Tacomas, mods, adventures, all that kind of stuff. But let's get back to the TRD Off-Road and let's talk about where it fits in the lineup of the Tacoma trim levels. All right, let's get into it. So let's get this right out of the way. I have a TRD Off-Road. Obviously, that's what I purchased, so that's where my bias is gonna lie. What I wanna cover today is a little bit of what's on the off-road and why it might be the best value overall. Reality is for you, you need to look at what your budget is, what your needs are for having a truck, for wanting a Tacoma, and that's really what's going to be the best fit for you. Are you using it as a daily driver? Are you using it as an off-roader? Are you just looking to haul stuff on the weekends? Are you looking to tow something? Are you looking to go overlanding and build it up as an overlanding gear? Really, all of that's going to just depend on your own personal preference, and the right trim level for you is going to be whatever the right trim level for you is. But I want to make at least a good, strong argument for why you should consider the TRD Off-Road. This isn't going to be a comprehensive look at all of the different trim levels, but I would like to go over the different trim levels just to be able to show you where the TRD Off-Road kind of sits in the lineup. So first you've got the SR, the entry level, you've got the SR5, you've got the TRD, and I'm going to lump the Sport and the TRD Off-Road into kind of a similar category just for discussion purposes. And then last, you've got the TRD Pro. So there's also a couple other versions. You've got the Nightshade, I think it's called, which is a little bit more of a design trim level with all the blackout packages. You've obviously got the Limited and the Trail Edition, and I'm not as familiar with those. I'm not going to touch on those. In fact, this isn't about a detailed overview of all of the different trim levels, but just to show you where the TRD Off-Road fits in the lineup. The SR is obviously your entry level Tacoma. It's really going to be your cheapest option. It's not going to have all the whistles and bells, really kind of the base truck. It's not a bad way to get a Tacoma, get the reliability of the Tacoma engine, holds its value. It's just going to be a really good starting point if that's your budget that you're looking for. After the SR, you've got the SR5. The SR5 is definitely going to be a step up, pretty big step up in a lot of cases from the SR. You're getting a lot more features, a lot more of kind of the whistles and the bells that people are looking for. When I was looking, I looked at the TRD Off-Road, the TRD Sport, and I was looking at quite a bit at SR5s. I was buying a new vehicle, and at the time I was buying in May of 2021. Honestly, the SR5 was actually the same price or within as little as $1,000 as the TRD Sport, the TRD Off-Road. So I think price made a big difference. If I could have found the SR5 for quite a bit lower price, probably would have been something I would have considered. But at the time I was looking, there were times where I actually found that it was more expensive than the Sport or the Off-Road. And so that's why I avoided it at the end of the day and really looked at the TRD levels. Now, before I get to the Sport and the Off-Road, let me jump to the TRD Pro, right? The TRD Pro, it's the top of the line. It's the Taj Mahal, it's the Mona Lisa, it's the tomahawk steak of Tacomas. It is by far the biggest, the beefiest, the roughest, the toughest Tacoma out there. However, it also comes with a price tag equivalent to those more expensive things. Quite often you're looking at about $10,000 or more for the TRD Pro than what you'll find the Sport or the Off-Road. And when I looked at it for that extra $10,000, I can do a lot with this rig to really customize it and make it mine and get it to the level of the TRD Pro, at least if that's what I'm looking for. So while all of these trim levels are in the same family, the Sport and the TRD Off-Road, right, they're probably the closest. So with the TRD Sport, the biggest thing you're going to be getting is the hood scoop. And I actually love the look of the hood scoop. Absolutely love it. In fact, I wouldn't mind putting the hood scoop on my TRD Off-Road, to be honest. That's one of the biggest things. You're also getting these 17-inch wheels instead of the 16-inch wheels that come on the Off-Road, and you've got the Sport suspension on the TRD Sport. Now, I test drove it. I don't know what the difference is. Maybe I just didn't drive it long enough or far enough or take corners or hit the freeway or do whatever I should have done to be able to notice that Sport suspension. I'm guessing if I'd spent a little bit more time test driving the two, I probably would have been able to notice, but for me, I wasn't able to notice those things. TRD Sport is a great way to go. It just doesn't have quite as many features, and it generally is the same price or in the same price range, depending on what you're adding to the truck, as the TRD Off-Road. So enough of the other models. Let's jump into the TRD Off-Road and specifically why I think it's the best trim level for the money. So as with all the models, you can pick the short bed or the long bed. The short bed is about a 5-foot bed plus. The long bed's going to be that longer 6-foot bed plus. I went with the 5-foot bed, the short bed myself. You also can go with the access cab. Seems like I see that less and less anymore. And mostly you're seeing that extended cab or that double cab that I've got on this one right here. I'm not really sure that the trim levels make a big difference. It seems like these two options come on quite a few of the different Tacomas, but I think with the TRD specifically, some people like the longer bed. It does make it a little bit more cumbersome. I've heard off-road, haven't really been off-road, so that doesn't make a difference, but I definitely like having that bigger cab and that little bit of extra space in the back. One of the first things you notice on the TRD Pro as well as the TRD Off-Road is the wheel cover, the Fender Protector here. On the black truck, obviously it doesn't pop quite as much. You can see this has got that matte finish versus the metallic finish that the rest of the vehicle has. When you look at the cement, the army green, quicksand, voodoo blue, any of those, that's where this black is really going to stand out a lot more. I like this. It just adds some extra protection, even if you're not off-roading, just on the road, day-to-day driving it, gives a little bit of extra protection. This can take a little bit more of those bumps instead of, you know, getting scuffed up a little bit is better than actually scratching the paint level. So that's one of the things I really like on the TRD Off-Road. TRD Off-Road comes with the 16-inch wheels as opposed to the 17-inch in the Sport. The reason is so that you can have that little bit more aggressive tire that's on there. Now, obviously this is more of an all-terrain tire, but so far it's been really good for daily driving. A couple times that I have had to use four-wheel drive, it's been good. I think if you're going to do any real serious off-roading, this is probably something that you're going to want to upgrade as far as the tire goes, but that 16-inch wheel really allows you to have a more aggressive tire while not being worried about bumping or rubbing up against the inside of that wheel hub right there. The other thing on the TRD Off-Road is that it comes with the Bilstein shocks. So it's got that off-road suspension, it's got the Bilstein shocks. A lot of people will still upgrade it to those Bilstein 5100s, but for just somebody who's doing maybe some casual off-roading, these Bilsteins come with the TRD specifically on the off-road model, and they're perfect for that. Stepping back inside the car, you've got the push button start. I know that comes on some of the different trim levels. I want to say TRD and above. It might be an upgrade on SR5s or SRs. I actually don't know, but I like not having a key. I like just having the fob in my pocket. The fob it's a little clunky, right? It's not the fanciest of fobs. It's pretty simple in all honesty. Maybe that's something I'll upgrade. I know there's some aftermarket fobs out there that you can switch out the electronics for. Maybe that's something I'll do in the future, but I like the push button start, and I like not having to get my key out of my pocket every time. Just go ahead and hit that push button. I also like that because of that I can just do the locking, either swiping your thumb over it or just inserting your hand. into the actual handle. One of the things that kind of bugged me in the beginning was that it was only opening the driver's side door. Figured out how to go into the settings, change that, and make it so that it unlocked all the doors at once when I did it. For me, that was just a little bit better fit. But the push button, having the auto lock and the easy unlock, for me, that's something I really liked about having the TRD. Hey, before getting to one of the biggest differentiators on the TRD Off-Road, if this is the kind of content you like, if you've got a Tacoma, if you're looking at Tacoma, maybe you got a 4Runner, maybe you've got another type of truck, right? An F-150, a Ram, a Honda Ridgeline. Yeah, I said it, yeah. Maybe you've got a Honda Ridgeline and you're watching this video. Why don't you go ahead, hit subscribe, doesn't cost you anything. That way you'll know when new videos come out. You can even smash the notification button so they'll tell you. Really working on getting out weekly videos and weekly content for you. And if there's other things that you want to know about the Tacoma, this is a 2021 Tacoma, let me know. Let me know down in the comments. I'd love to create more videos and more information that you're interested in as the viewer. Appreciate it. And finally, the place where the TRD Off-Road really sets itself apart from the Sport as well as from the SR and the SR5 has to do with the off-road capabilities that you find just right above here on the top, right just above the mirror, and that has to do with the controls for locking rear differential. That has to do with the crawl control and the all-terrain, multi-terrain select knobs. Right, so this might be just a little bit hard to see because it's a little bit dark, but here's your button for your rear differential. Obviously, if you're in a spot where you're starting to spin and you need that extra traction control, you've got the locking rear diff right here. That's a big upgrade on this versus some of those other trim levels. Then you've got the crawl control and then the multi-terrain select. So once you're in for low, you can start to use these. Crawl control, it's kind of like cruise control for crawling in terrain when you're going at a really slow speed. And again, this is one of those biggest things that sets this model or this trim apart from some of the other ones, like the Sport, like the Limited. I don't believe this is on the Trail edition either, nor of course the SR. So TRD Pro owners, they're going to say that the TRD Pro is the best trim level for the Tacoma. It's the top of the line. It's got the most capabilities and functionality, and they're not wrong. They're really not. It just comes with the price tag. Now, if you're not looking to do any off-roading, if you're not looking for a 4x4 truck, if you don't care about crawl control and multi-terrain select modes, then right, you got to get what's good for you. I just wanted to kind of give you an overview of what's included in the TRD Off-Road so that if some of those features are the things that you're looking for, that this might be the trim level that you consider. All right, so at a high level, that's the TRD Off-Road. Let me know in the comments, do you have a Tacoma? What trim level do you have? What do you like about it? What do you not like about it? I just went over some of the features of my truck and some of the things that I actually like about it and some of the reasons that I went with the TRD Off-Road myself. Hey, if this is the kind of content that you're looking for, hit like on that video, go ahead and smash subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.